The real problem with wind energy is not per se that it's unstable. Sometimes the wind doesn't blow, sometimes it does, and this may affect the electric grid, as it did in Spain and Portugal recently, where they had a blackout, right? That's not the issue. They may actually be able to fix that. The real issue is that when you say that fossil fuels are finite but wind is renewable, you are gaslighting people, because wind comes at a fixed average rate. Once you have exploited that average rate, there's not going to be more wind to exploit. And so wind itself is also a finite resource. It's finite because the wind isn't just magically going to blow harder once we have exploited it to the max. In fact, once we have exploited wind around the world to the max, you are also absorbing that kinetic energy from the atmosphere. So that, for example, pockets of heat will stay where they are and are no longer blown across the planet. Or the cold wind from the North Sea, for example, is no longer blown inward into Europe, and you are actually heating Europe up. This is already happening, as in the inland of Germany and the Netherlands and so on. Temperatures are rising not because of climate change, but because we are capturing the cold wind coming from the Atlantic and from the North Sea. Or, in other words, although I actually do think this looks pretty, our politicians are still fucking imbeciles. Each of these wind turbines needs about, I don't know, 120 liters of oil, lubricant oil, per year on average use to keep them spinning, to keep the gears and the gearbox operational. So even if you would switch to total wind energy systems, you still need oil for a lot of issues dealing with the production process and the maintenance and so on. And how do you think they get those blades back up there when they recycle them? Well, actually they can't recycle them, they just bury them. But when they have to put new ones on, they use a helicopter, also runs on oil.